The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's me, Nikki Glaser. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast, special edition, Taylor Swift Torture Poets Department Gushfest Part 2. We're going to try to get through as many songs as we can today, but you know, we get a ramblin'. We also have to just cover stuff that's come up with the other songs that we covered last week because we have new feelings about them. As always, and by always I mean one other time, I am joined by the only person in my life who loves Taylor Swift as much as me, Nour Hadidi, comedian Nour Hadidi. Welcome back to the show, Nour.
Hello, Nikki. It is an honor and a privilege to be here and serve my country this way.
Yeah, your country being Canada. Yes, you're from Canada.
Yes. No, my country being
Nation.
Swiftanistan.
Yes.
Swift
Yeah,
Nation. There we
well,
go. Nation. That's better.
Okay, I want to talk about your life because you are the only one in my life who, there's maybe a couple. No, you are the top spot. If we're talking about rankings, you're my boy breaks his favorite toys, and then I have other people that are down bad, which are very high up there in terms of liking Taylor Swift, but it's not. It's my boy only breaks his favorite toys is so far above you. You are you're a Swiftie on the level that I am. Do you have Swifties in your personal life that are on your level?
You're it, Nikki. It's only
really
you.
What did you do before me? What did we do before each other?
Okay, so a few years ago, this was pre-pandemic, I never told you this, I put on a Taylor Swift show on her birthday for her. So
a comedy
it
show?
was on December 13th. Yeah, it was a talk show.
Cutie.
And I had a co-host named Adele. So her and I would message a lot. And I had a bunch of comics who love her who wrote material about her for the show. So there's a comic, Olivia Stadler. She was also on it. You know her. Yeah, I feel like you would know her. So yeah, I had some people I could reach out to and talk to, but not at this
are
level.
you on the subreddit?
When we Yes,
that's where you get it. That's where I get the subreddit. That's where I get the okay, I'm not alone in this obsession. Before I met someone personally who is on the same level as me.
Right.
Because it's a disappointment when you see people in Taylor Swift merch and you try to strike up a conversation the way that we want to have and they just aren't picking it up, and they don't want to go there and they're kind of a little bit oh, I don't know about that, or so it's rare to find someone, especially someone who's a comedian, especially someone who I just met through someone else. It's not like we found each other because of Taylor Swift. It was just so exciting when I found you.
But one of the reasons I wanted to meet you so much was because I knew we both had a love for her. Because you did this really cool thing where you had a dance party during the pandemic and you donated all the money to an animal shelter. And I bought a ticket and I danced the whole night. And I was like, oh, I just want to meet her. She's so cool. God. You just get it.
Thank you.
You know?
That was so fun. Yeah, that was when my obsession was peaking. And obviously it was before Folklore and Evermore. And it was just, it was fresh COVID. And I did a dance party.
You were at your parents' house.
And staying at my parents'
I remember.
House. And man, when that song came out, first of all, when Folklore came out, they had a St. Louis mention within the second track, and then they had "'Tis the Damn Season" soon after that, where it was staying at my parents' house, and I was like, wait a second, we are on the same page here. It was released. I think everyone finds little things like that in her songs that are is she reading my mind?
Wait, what's the St. Louis reference?
Rebecca showed up on the afternoon train. It was sunny. Her salt box house on the coast took her mind off St. Louis. And so we always get really excited when she sings that. It's just oh my God, she's mentioning the city I'm from. I imagine how it feels to be a Chloe, Sophia, or Marcus, or a Sarah, or a Hannah. Not really, not those. Anyway, so Torture Poets Department. We are now a week and a half out of it. Feels like it's been a month because I've spent so much time with it. Yes. Are you having this thing where you're having to take breaks because it's hitting different? It's not I don't have the limerence thing going on, which is that like drug related type feeling that courses through your veins when you are first falling in love with a song. Like it's starting, these drugs aren't getting me high anymore. Like obviously I love the song, there's no question, but I'm not getting high from them. Are you having that and having to find? Yeah.
100% for me, it's like maybe not necessarily the high, but because she pulls me in so emotionally, I find that I'm depleted after listening to the album.
Whoa.
Like, because I'll put it on once or twice and then I'm like, I can't. Like, this has just taken so much
you
out
listen
of
to the
me.
album in
I need
like all together? Like you like go through it, you press play, and man, okay,
Yes.
we're different kind of Swiftie because I know about you guys. I hear about you on subreddits. Like you're listening to the album and you're being drained emotionally. Like I don't know what that is. You must be an extreme empath. Is that something that you relate to?
Oh, maybe. My sister is, so maybe I think I'm not to the extent as her, but I do feel things like, and on this album more so than all of her other previous albums, because the lyrics are what really shine through, right? Like the production, I don't want to say feels the same because it's different for each song, but it's not like Midnights where we're getting a different kind of song one after the other. I find that it's all, like from the same emotional place and melancholic.
Yes. And I don't know if I said this before, but like that whole argument that this all sounds the same, like I probably did. I'm so sorry if I repeat myself. I talk about Taylor Swift constantly, so I don't know where I said each thing. So there might be some things repeated in this episode, and you can just like press the skip, like go 30 seconds ahead, and then I'll be done saying the thing I just said. But for people saying this sounds the same, if it sounded to Midnights, I remember the discourse around that was it wasn't cohesive enough. It sounded too different. So it's like
really?
I remember that being a criticism of it. It wasn't a cohesive album, which is always like a word that music critics use to talk about albums. Like it doesn't have a similar theme, and it's like, and now this one does, and people are like, it doesn't have any kind of nuance. It's not. We're not on a roller coaster. It's like, but you complained last time that she did that. So kind of is the I've said it before, but it's the point she makes about if you have enough fat on you to have an ass, you have a tummy, and if you don't have a tummy, then you're not going to have an ass, and people will criticize you for that. So it's like you can't. It's almost like you can't fucking win. So such is the life of Taylor Swift. But and yes, you're right. I guess I'm not drained emotionally from this album as much as I've been hearing other people. Like I definitely am feeling things, and I think I'm sorry, Taylor, if you're listening. I don't think about your life as much as I think about my life. And like, I'm obviously like, I know you're happy now because of So High School and The Alchemy. And so I'm like, okay, she's good. And because this album's success. And I mean, and I don't know she's happy, by the way. That's me being, she can do it with a broken heart. I can read her mind. She's having the time of her life. She could be not right now. We know that from I Can Do It With a Broken Heart because she can fool us because she's a fucking pro.
Yes.
But
because she's a mastermind.
I am not. I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe she went through this. Like I'm sad that she did, of course, but I'm not like when we got off the podcast last week, you kind of blew my mind with how you were saying like it really like. It makes you sad, like you're sad after listening to songs, like you get depressed. I don't relate to that
you don't?
at all. If anything, it like is a nurturing blanket. It's like someone like crazy, like it's like laying in my grandmother's lap and her like gently like rubbing my hair and like drawing animals on my back, and I can guess what, like the most comforting feeling. It feels buzzy. It feels like a narcotic. I'm not kidding you. I feel like I could just. You could see me on Skid Row. And like, those memes where it's like someone's mainlining an iPod into their wrist. And that's Torture Poets for me right now.
Yes.
Of like, probably 7 of the songs. Last night I learned Love of My Life on the guitar, which is very, very simple. If anyone here wants to learn guitar, it's very, very easy. And it's, and that song, like, and I was almost like making myself cry because of how like I was singing it. Like that was really a cathartic moment for me. But I'm not having like, oh, I'm so sad. Like I need to like someone to pick me up. If anything, I put this album on to like get me out of those moods that have nothing to do with her.
So my question is, do you think because you have a musical background, that's the reason? Because I don't. I'm like Taylor does what she.
I started playing,
about,
but I
Nikki?
sang in choir in high school. But I started singing and playing music only 4 years ago, less than. So
But you're incredible, and your voice
That
is amazing.
Really debatable, but thank you so much. But I don't think I approach
my
it from
God,
like
Nikki.
I see that, like I have synesthesia and I see it musically. I think it's just this is what I like about Taylor Swift. Our favorites, which we've ranked them, are so different. The way her music makes us feel. But why would you want to listen to it if it makes you sad? Is my point. Is my question for you.
Oh my God. It's almost like because I've been listening to her music since I was 19, and it's like she's opening up her diary, and how can I not? Is
Like
the
morbid
question.
curiosity?
How can I not? It's a connection I have to her. It's hard to explain. It's like I've listened to every single song she's
Right.
put out since 2009. I'm not going to stop now.
But even though it hurts, but
previous-
does it feel good? And there has to be some component of it that makes you feel good. Why would you do it? You're just doing it because you're a fan and you have to?
Yeah. No. Well, you know what it's like when you love a new song, and you like, even though whatever emotions it makes you feel, you still want to know the lyrics, right? You want to get to a point where you know what the bridge is, you know what, so that's what keeps
You're
me
trying
listening,
to
I think, is
memorize
I
it,
want to know.
even though it makes you sad.
Yes.
Well, listen, hold on. Who am I to judge you for doing something that ultimately makes you sad? Because that's literally everything I do is like, it feels, but at first it feels good at least. You know, like if I use drugs, if I drink, if I engage in texting people I shouldn't, or whatever like, you know, thing we do in our life that gives us a momentary surge, like a drug, there is a depressing thing afterwards. And that's what I'm feeling with, it's just not hitting the same way, where I'm like, well, thank God there's 31 fucking songs, because the second My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, I haven't listened to that song in 5 days because I need to recalibrate. It's not like I need to build up my tolerance again. And so when it comes on, I go, oh my God, this song, you know, like I need to get it back. Music is 100% like a drug for me. There's such correlations to it. And I was going to say, it's like having a crush on a guy. Like I said last week, like I was feeling like this weird feeling come over me of like, oh my God, when I go home, I get to like text a boy I like, which I haven't been doing that for so long. I'm in a relationship. But then I realized it was the album. It was like, it gives me this, look up the word limerence. I have limerence with these albums, but that's also a drug, like falling in love with someone, that kind of early stage. So it's so fitting because this album is about like using love as a drug to get over something, you know, to get over Joe, which everyone says this album's not about Joe, but it is, because Maddie is a response to Joe. It is about Joe.
Do you think so? I don't think Maddie's a response to Joe.
Because she.
I disagree with
she
you.
She even says, I took the miracle move on drug. The effects were temporary. Why does she need a drug to move on if she's fine about Joe?
I thought she said that she took the drug to get over Maddie.
I think Maddie is the drug.
I'll tell you my thesis.
Okay. We're going back.
When Jack Antonoff posted the photo of her counting the raisins.
Yes, when the night they recorded You're Losing Me. Mm-hmm.
That was years ago. So she's been on and off and on and off, and
right.
Midnights, well, like you said, was the breakup album with Maroon. Hits different. You know, like
Sweet Nothing.
And on Midnights, we had
Bejeweled.
Sweet Nothing, exactly. And
Best believe I'm still bejeweled. And when I meet the band, they asked, "Do you have a man?" What band do you think that was? Because I think it was the 1975.
The 1975.
I'll say I don't remember. Like that is when I heard that lyric, I go, "Whoa, who's this about? We're not dealing with characters anymore in folklore. You know, this is you, girl." I loved it.
And if I may be so bold, both Question and Glitch are about Maddie. They were on Midnights.
Well, she might have been talking to him when they were on little breaks, because as someone who has been in a relationship that ends and then gets back together and ends and get back together, during those breaks, you often go back to someone who you possibly could have been talking to before you got together with that person, which is what we know from a lot of reconnaissance about Maddie. And so this is all speculating, and we are definitely being Sarah's and Hannah's right now, so I apologize to Taylor Swift for speculating. But girl, like I said last week, this is what you do to us, and I'm sorry if it feels invasive. And
we love you so much.
I love you so much, and I do the same things, and so that's why I love talking about it. Nothing you've done has ever been like, I would never do that. I do all of it, and it makes me feel seen. So yeah, I'm okay.
Sorry, one more thing. I saw this incredible, I wish I knew who the creator was. It was a reel on Instagram. And you know, the one is also about Maddie. And
What?
it says, yes.
Why did she take
Yes,
it out
girl,
of the set
and
list when she broke up
Cardigan.
with Joe? We all thought that was because, and why was the one not missing on
No,
the
she removed, babe, she removed Invisible String.
Oh,
and
Invisible
put
String.
the one
Sorry.
because
She
the one
removed
is
Invisible String. You're right. I'm so sorry. I got
Yes.
those two mixed up. Forgive
Yes.
me, Swifties. Okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. So there was an incredible Swiftie who's like, can I ask you a question?
Because we all, I mean,
like-
literally, whenever a question comes up on subreddit where it's like, if you got to ask Taylor Swift one question, what would it be? I'm always like, what does question mean? That's always going to be my question to her. It's like, when I become friends with her, I'm going to be like, girl, let's talk about question. Can I ask you a question?
I'll tell you what it is.
Have you ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one in question are related.
Oh.
Like there's a breakdown of how if one thing had been different, would everything be
Yes.
different? And the expansion of that lyric from the one is all of question.
Okay.
Like
But has anyone ever kissed you in a
yeah.
crowded room and all of your friends were making fun of you and 15 seconds later they were laughing too? Then what would you do? Okay, I
Clapping
thought
too.
question was about Harry Styles. Do you know why? Because the beginning of the song goes, I remember, and it's about, and I mean, that's a callback to Out of the Woods, which we all know
Out
is
of
about
the
Harry.
Woods.
So at the very end, it goes, I remember. And so I was like, okay, that's definitely, why would she put that in there? So there's a lot of that going on. Here's the thing about Taylor. It's like, until I become friends with her, I won't have these answers ever. We will never know concretely what is really going on, because there are songs. Let me talk about Love of My Life for a sec. I mean, we'll get into it, but I don't know who that's about, because that has both Maddie, that has everyone in it. You know, like you can't really pin it down. So she's being vague enough. But then you get to Thank You, Amy, and you're like, well, this is very clear. So there's times where she's like so vague, and other times where she's spot on. Okay, so before we get into it, which we're well in, but before we get back to the track, we got through last week fresh out of the Slammer. Now, I just want to go back one second and say that I realized an amazing thing in But Daddy, I Love Him. That like it's definitely about Maddie, and it's another one of these like, oh, she uses a music sample that sounds like the guy she's talking about. She did it in Dear John with like the kind of like whiny like guitar, you know, and we're like, oh my God, that's a John Mayer guitar. And so she does that. So in But Daddy, I Love Him, there's some drums at the very end that I want to play. And then we're going to hear those drums somewhere else. I'm going to play these drums. I'm not going to play longer than 15 seconds so we don't get copyright. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. Sorry about that, you guys. And if anyone thinks this is about Joe, you're wrong. Not that you would. Okay. Sorry. Keeping it. 1 second. Here it comes. Listen to the drums. Okay, now listen to the drums on the song The City, which is the song that she played and I got very much into because she played them at... It is the same drum. It is the same drum. In The City, let me play her My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys again. Now that drum... Okay, one more time, The City. It's the same fucking drum, you guys. So that The City is the song that she played in January of 2023 at the 1975 show. It is also a song that she was singing to in a video from like 2014 when she went to one of their concerts. Like, she loves that song. I thought maybe it was probably like back when she went to his concert in January of last year when Joe and her were still together. I'm not going to lie. I kind of knew something was up because I knew that she had like talked to him before, and I'm just like, we got this Midnights album. I was feeling like Joe was not like, I think that there were some little clues that things with Joe weren't good. The Bejeweled line all of a sudden made sense about like a band, even though that album came out before she went to go see them. And then I knew she was like just them hanging out, and I was just, and so I remember getting into the city and being like, is this about her? Like, is she singing? Because how badass would it be if a guy 10 years ago wrote a song about you, and then 10 years later, when you're in another relationship and you're just friends or whatever, because that's what I kind of thought it was going on, but I thought maybe she is, who knows? I go, how badass would it be to walk out on stage, get a bigger response than even the person that they're there to see? Then you play the song that he wrote about you. And I gotta say, I like her version that she does acoustically. If you guys haven't heard it, you're missing out so much. Her version, it's one of my favorite songs now. I love their version, but I think I like hers more, maybe because I heard it first, but I just love her acoustic version of it. And so that is a huge hidden piece that I wanted to reveal that I don't think I've seen any TikToks about or anything. So that was, I wanted to go back and do that before. And then I wanted to also say, okay, so I'm really into. Okay, no, we'll get into that later. Let's pick back. Is there anything you want to say about the tracks that we've all been over? Even My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. No. Can I ask you why that is in your bottom?
It's not in my bottom, is it? No, you sent me, I love that song. Okay, here, let me see.
And by the way, even if songs are in our bottoms, we don't not like them. Like, that's the thing about Taylor Swift rankings. Like, it feels sad when you see a song.
It's my number.
Oh, it is? Okay, it was my other friend, Brenna.
My friend
Nikki. Brenna, who is also, for those of you, you know Brenna, if you're listening to the podcast regularly, Andrew's fiance, Brenna, is also a major Swiftie. And she is My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys at the bottom. And my bottoms are on her top. And that was so fascinating to us as we were talking about it yesterday. Okay, let's pick back up. We are starting with Florida. 3 exclamation points.
Oh my God. And
okay, featuring Florence and the Machine. Now, Florence and the Machine, does that mean it's featuring the whole band? Because I thought it was just featuring Florence, but I guess the whole band is there. Or is that what she goes by? Does anyone care?
Maybe that's what she goes by.
Okay, I thought her name was Florence Welch, but I guess that's what she goes by. Nour, what are your feelings on this track?
I mean, I love Florida. I'm obsessed with the production, with the lyrics, with Florence on it. It is one of my faves. It's in my top 5. I love Florida.
Really? Okay, it's definitely in my bottom 5.
Yes.
It is definitely it goes number 31 on my rankings. I have to say, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Crazy.
I was on a Swiftie subreddit, and not one of the bad ones. Let me just say, Swiftie subreddit, I no longer participate in. Definitely no longer participate in one that starts with a G. And I definitely no longer participate in the one that's Swiftie neutral, which is like people that are like, you know what? We're not going to like just be sycophants about her. We're actually going to, it is the most negative space. They are all obsessed with her, but they can't admit it to themselves. And they're almost embarrassed that they're obsessed with her. So they have to take her down. But it's like, that is an obsession in and of itself. And they just like to make fun of us. It's the most, and I used to just dabble in it just to see what people were up to that were on the other side of what I am. Like, just be open to don't close or bipartisanship, like open your mind to their side so you can empathize with them, even though you'll never agree. And I got out of it. I unsubscribed because it was so negative. Because it just is, whether or not you agree with them, just following a subreddit that only talks shit, which is so many subreddits, is bad for your health. And if you're a regular listener to the podcast, You know that I'm trying to avoid just like criticism and shit talking in any way, even though it's one of my favorite things to do. But then Reddit just like starts like showing you posts from it, being like, you might like this. And I muted them because I just want out of that. I just don't want any more negativity. But I did find something within there's true Swifties, which are mega Swifties. And then there's the Taylor Swift subreddit. But if you want like nothing but gushy love all the time, true Swifties is a good one. But in Taylor Swift, someone was talking about the album and they said Florida made them feel nauseous. And I think it does that to me too. But I think it's meant to, because it's like, whoa, it's like, and Florida is like, the way she described the song is like, that's where you go to like get away from the law after you've done something bad. And you're burying things, and there's just, it just makes me feel kind of, I feel uneasy, even though I do recognize that it is, I mean, immediately when I saw the title, I'm like, Florida, like it's so catchy. I don't tend to like her, like getting together with people and singing. I just like want her to sing the whole thing. If I think, and I love Florence and the Machine. I really am a fan, but it's like two positives make a negative to me. I just want Taylor when I want Taylor. And if she sang this whole song, I bet it would not be 31 for me. But Florence's voice is amazing on it. It's so ghostly and kind of fits the vibe of it. Like, I have no complaints. I don't know why, but it's just not my song yet. What is your favorite parts about it?
Well, when I first listened to the album, it's the one song I kept playing on repeat. Yeah, I think it's everything really, like the lyrics, the instrumentation, the drums with the bump up, like the four drums.
I mean, there's references. I like how it's cross-referenced. I mean, we hear about Florida first in Fortnite, and then yeah, I don't know if Florida comes up again, but we all thought that Florida, this track was going to be about her breakup with Joe. That happened probably in Florida because she was in Florida when we all kind of thought it happened. Does Maddie represent Florida? Is that who Maddie is, where you go after to get away from something, to escape pain, to escape like, is he Florida?
I like that
what's
analogy.
Her obsession with
I can
Florida?
see
Like,
that
why,
for sure.
What is she trying to tell us in this? She's talking about dolls.
I think she's trying to tell us. Yeah, well, I really love the lines that both her and Florence have, where little did you know your hometown's only a place you're just a guest in. And then Florence line, little did you know your hometown's only the place you'll get arrested.
It's so good.
So I kind of like that. Yeah, that like where you live is actually what you think is permanent is only gonna feel temporary when you make this big decision and decide that you have to go down to Florida. So maybe that's what it is. Like with Maddie, like, yeah, he's my Florida.
Dude.
This 6-year relationship that I've had, I'm only a guest in it.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Can I just say my favorite lyric? Okay, I think I'm coming around on this song, by the way, because I'm looking at the lyrics. I'm like, wait a second. I think I love this song. All of the bodies that have ever been on my body. Like, that is, I know that people might make fun of that lyric and be like, okay, you're just saying body a lot. But like, if you are going to make fun of that, you should make fun of to the left, everything you own in a box to the left. Like, you're allowed to say words a lot. But that one is so funny. All of the bodies that have ever been on my body. Like, I want to hear Taylor sing that so badly, even though it's a Florence line. And it's one hell of a drug. I love that. It's one hell of a drug. Like, I like how it opens up at the end really Okay, I'm a Florida stan now. It's in my top 5. I really do like it. Because you know what?
Oh my
God. What I do. Like, I'm open to being like, I don't like things. And then I look at them and I go, why? Why don't you like it? And then I really don't have any evidence to back it up. So I like Florida. I'm back in. We are going to get to my number 31 song, my new number 31 song in a second, but not yet, because we're moving on to Guilty as Sin, which is, I think it ranked pretty high up there for me. It's so funny because you'll be like, oh, I think that's my number 2 song. And then you go, oh shit, I have a lot of songs that are favorites, that's what this album is about. So for me, wow, it doesn't even rank in top 10 for me. And it's one of my favorites. I'm looking at my top 10 list. God, where is it for me? It's number 11. Okay, so it's nearly there, but that seems crazy. I think my ranking's fucked up because Guilty as Sin is so good. I listened to it Saturday night. I had a clawfoot bathtub in my really nice I guess it was Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, a clawfoot bathtub in my hotel room in Omaha, and after my Omaha, I drew a bath and I like put on Guilty as Sin and I like pretended I was her in a relationship and like dreaming about a boy, and like I did not masturbate, but this is the song to do that too, because it's so funny. I was telling Anya about this song, and I was like, oh, you know, she wrote a song about masturbating to someone else when you're in a relationship and feeling bad about it, or not feeling bad about it, but yeah, feeling guilty as sin. And Anya goes, do you think other people like look into these songs as much as you do? And I go, no, this is not me just like putting a spin on it. This is very clear. I mean, I will say, when I did the first live listen to this album the night it came out, I remember people in the chat being like, Guilty as Sin is about her masturbating. And I instantly went to it. I was like, I can't, I think it was coming up next, but I was like, I want to get to it now. I didn't skip to get to it because I wanted to listen in order, but I wanted to immediately because, I mean, what a subject. I mean, I remember when Britney Spears wrote a song about masturbating, and it was wild. And now we got Taylor Swift writing one. And because that's what it is, right, Nour?
Absolutely. You're so funny. I just thought of the Britney one. Like, I wanna go.
No, that's
so this
not even
one's
the
like,
one.
that
The
one's
Touch
more
of
of
My
like
Hand is the name of the song. And it is legit about her like, it's called I think it's called The Touch of My Hand, but I'm sure she has a lot. But that came out kind of like, I think probably earlier than I wanna go. But Touch of My Hand was like, I was in high school and I was like, or maybe early college, like, whoa, I think it was early college, being like, man, this girl's talking about masturbation. Like, I don't even know how to do that yet. And I think it was the first time I got kind of curious into it. But Guilty as Sin, Drowning in the Blue Nile, which is is a band who has a song called Downtown Lights. So she's drowning in the Blue Nile. She's already listening to it. He sent me downtown lights. I hadn't heard it in a while. My boredom's bone deep. So she's bored in a relationship. This cage, we're talking about cages, which we heard about in But Daddy, I Love Him. This cage was what's just fine. Am I allowed to cry? By the way, I can't even believe Am I Allowed to Cry? I wrote a song that is coming out May 8th, I think, called Someday You'll Die. And I have a song about crying in the bathtub. And I struggled for so long to come up with the perfect lyric for it, because it was about like trying to cry but not being able to, kind of thing. And fucking Taylor Swift nails. That's what I was trying to do. Is like, she was able to, because I ended up just using the lyric like, why can't I cry? But that was the same thing of like, why can't I cry? But she answers my question. I can't cry because I don't know if I'm allowed to. And I'm like, wow, that's 20 years of songwriting ahead of me. Like 20 years ago, she might have written my version, which was, I can't cry. Simple. Nothing, like, just kind of, it's fine. It's fine. But that's the poetic mastery that she's achieved. Like, as someone who is trying to convey the same image, she conveyed it. That is so much more interesting to me. Am I allowed to cry? Than why can't I cry? You know, like, I think Why Can't I Cry is debut, and Am I Allowed to Cry is Torture Poets. That just shows like her elevation in songwriting, which is fine. I am debut. Like, I just started playing music. Like, I'm even less than debut. I'm like her, like, little CDs she used to bring about into radio stations before debut. Like, that's where I'm at in my journey. Not even there. She wrote way more. I'm like her when she was 12 and she probably wrote 3 songs before 4 p.m. when she got her first guitar for Christmas. Have you ever seen that video where she gets a guitar for Christmas? It's so cute. God.
I am so
She's
happy.
So cute.
She says
I love
that.
It. Okay. I'm
She's
dreaming
cute.
of cracking locks. Okay, we see that imagery in the music video for Fortnite. Throwing my life to the wolves, or the ocean rocks. Okay, we heard that about ocean rocks in the Rebecca Wrote Up on that, where she's like tossing herself onto pacing the rocks and and then she's, and also in My Tears Ricochet, falling, you know, she's jumping off of very tall somethings in a lot of songs. Crashing into him tonight, he's a paradox. I'm seeing visions. Am I bad or mad or wise? And then, what if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? I mean, I would have dropped my mic if it didn't cost a lot. Ugh, I can't even handle this lyric. It's so hot.
And the melody of it.
So good. So interesting.
The melody. Oh my God.
What if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? And then my favorite part, one slip into the font, like that dun 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 dun. That is so interesting, and I cannot get, there's a video of Post Malone dancing that someone put to this song. And every time I hear one slip and falling back into the hedge maze, I always picture him going dun, 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 and dancing like that. It is, I want to dance to this song so badly. I cannot wait to go to a Swiftie sing-along. I cannot wait to go to Era's tour, and maybe she plays this, but I doubt we'll get this one, but who knows? I keep recalling things we never did. I mean, who can't relate to that where you're like, this is limerence, dude. I've been talking about limerence on the podcast so much. She is a limerhead, just like me, just like you probably, where you have fantasies about someone and you go so far in your head that it becomes better than anything it could ever be between you two. Like the you closing your eyes at night to go to sleep, you on a plane. My friend Taylor has limerence too. She does it. It's like a drug that people do, where they just fantasize and you don't jack off to it, but it's like you're just it feels buzzy and warm to like picture things, and it's really bad for you.
Well, I think it's like it's a coping mechanism, right? Like I used to daydream a lot as a kid, and I used to romanticize so much when I was a teenager, especially because I never had an experience. So I would just like build it up in my mind or do things that I wanted without having to actually like be vulnerable in real life.
Whatever made you do stand-up comedy?
Right?
Like what made you stop fantasizing about that? Because I think a lot of people have fantasies of doing something like being famous or like, and you actually went and pursued it. Like, because I wasn't really a daydreamy kid. I've actually really didn't like daydreaming until recently and I still only daydream about things that I think I can actually achieve. It's never something that is unachievable, ever. Ever, ever, ever. I would never fantasize about. Now in my life, I have kind of access to famous people. So if I was to daydream about Brad Pitt, I'm like, well, maybe that could actually happen. But when I was in middle school, I was not daydreaming about, Ryder Strong, because I'm like, I have no access to him. So I daydream about maybe someone in my class but even in my class, I was like, I'm such a dork. I don't have a chance with that person. I would only allow it if I could actually make it happen. So what made you be able to do stand-up comedy? Because I'm guessing that's something you daydreamed about.
Yes, I daydreamed about everything I wanted. I think because what made me want to do stand-up is I just was obsessed with it, Nikki. Like, I didn't know it was an art form until I was in my... Shut up.
Just like, of course we were obsessed. Like, we are obsessies. Yeah. But you were obsessed with it before you did it?
Yeah, because I didn't know it was an art form until I got to undergrad, and in my dorm room, my dorm mate was like, let's watch some stand-up. I didn't know you could just talk into a mic and tell jokes. Yeah, I kind of didn't either. Like, I grew up in Jordan.
Okay, so you really didn't know. Okay, you grew up in Jordan until when?
Yeah. High school.
You really didn't know.
All comedy to me was sitcoms and comedy movies like Steve Martin, Marty Short, like Mad About You, Fresh Prince.
I like that you called him Marty.
Wish.
No, he's amazing.
Yeah, I read his autobiography.
Is it good?
I would die if I met Marty Short.
I've met
it's
him
incredible.
before.
I cried so many times.
Where though? I have this thing where when I meet famous people, I black out where I met them because it's just too much for my brain. It's very bizarre. It's happened so frequently that it is of note. Like there's something wrong with me that people that I'm really admiring of. Because I know I've met him. No, you know what? Chris met him. Chris did Beauty and the Beast live, and he played Lumiere. And he was in a meeting with him and David Alan Grier, and it came out that he was my boyfriend, and they were both huge fans. And he came home to tell me Martin Short knew who I was, and I was just like, and I met Martin Short another time. I just shook his hand really briefly at they were like doing a sound check at the Beacon Theater for their show, and Amy Schumer was friends with them, so we went and just watched from the audience, and I think we may have like shook their hand, but anyway, that's
wow,
that's the same way I felt about stand-up. I didn't know that it was, I mean, I knew about it because I grew up and I saw it on TV and stuff. And I have really a lot of intense memories of my dad laughing at Wendy Liebman, a joke she did on The Tonight Show. Like I have
oh my God, I love Wendy Liebman so much.
Like, and she's still cranking out amazing jokes on Instagram. Like she's one of the best joke writers. Like her joke that is so subtle that you can roll your eyes at and be like, well, that's not that simple or that's not that hard. It is hard. she perfected what I do so much now, which is just throw in one word at the very end and it changes the whole meaning of the joke. I don't know if she was the first to do it, but she was the first that popularized it. I believe her and Kevin Nealon and a little bit of David Spade on SNL. Like I saw the Bodyguard this weekend, and I want my money back. Or but even like that's not even the perfect example. But her joke that my dad laughed at was, "You guys, I just quit smoking crack," and she just said it like just that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, that little line. She's just amazing. I met my husband online at the grocery store, at the grocery store. Just adding those little things. Know that.
It's such
and
and she's so kind off stage.
She's
like
the nicest.
I got to open for her, and it meant so much to me. And she was so kind. Like
every female comic who is truly great is really well. Okay, I'm taking that back. Let's move on. Just was like, wait a second. I actually do really love some people that are totally not nice. Okay. But okay, so back to, and I want to say that actually Taylor Swift does the same thing that Wendy Liebman does a lot of, like just changing something at the very end. Loss of My Life. Mm-hmm. I think we all got hit over the head for that. Like we all thought it was Love of My Life, and then she switched it at the end, and like, oh my God, but Daddy, I love him. No, I'm not. Like that's not exactly it, but just leading us somewhere and then pulling us back is a really great device that she has used a lot in this album. But this song, can I just interpret, because some besties wrote to me being like, we need to hear your thoughts on Guilty as Sin. I am so obsessed with the song. It is so hot. It is so sexy. All of these memes that are like, Taylor Swift's written 1,100 songs about boys breaking up with her, but none about giving blowjobs. Maybe, is there a problem? Like, people send me that one all the time because it's like it's one of the dumbest things that has ever been written. It's funny, I guess. Like, the joke is she's getting broken up with because she doesn't give blowjobs, but like, who writes songs about blowjobs? Besides My Milkshake Brings All the Boys. Like, is that even a blowjob joke? I don't know. But it's the dumbest meme, but I will say Taylor Swift is very sexual, and you can post all of her awkward dancing you want and say, oh, this girl doesn't have sex appeal. She 100% does. You have no idea. In this song, she's into some of the same stuff I think I'm into, and obviously I'm projecting, and I want her to be just like me, and I want to be just like her, so I'm going to find any way I can. So just know that I know that, guys. But what if he's written mine on my upper thigh? That is some BDSM stuff. And I'm not saying that she's into that. I am not making any. I'm just saying, as someone who is into that stuff, who does like to be the sub, and who does like people to like own me and be like, you're going to do this, writing mine on someone's upper thigh, which is a very sexy area. It's like pretty much your vagina. Is so hot. And writing on someone, I mean, that is something I only really see in pornography when they write on women and write things, and it's just hot. It's ownership. It's like it's that sub-dom kind of vibe, and her song Mine is, like, I thought about that too.
Oh,
like, it's reframing that a little bit, like. And she writes on herself all the time. We know that. She's always written lyrics on her arms. She writes 13 on her hands. Like, this isn't like out of the realm for her. So like, of course our girl is using that kind of same fun thing of like writing on yourself in a sexual way. And let me just say, what if he's only written mine on his, she didn't say he only has, but what if? Like, what does that mean to you? Like, what if he's like, why didn't she say, he's only written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind, or whatever? Like, she could have just stated that, but she's like, did it happen? And I maybe am like, to me, it sounds like, did this only happen in my mind, or did this happen? Could this have happened? Did it happen? Maybe, like, she's imagining things they never did. So It's not saying that it's one of those things. It could have been. I just don't know. What do you think, Nour?
I agree with you. I think it's like, in her head, she wants it, she's fantasizing about it, and she's saying it. And anyone who's like, why doesn't she write songs about blowjobs? Like, first of all, this is an artist putting art out there. She does not need to do anything for you. All she needs to do is create art that comes out of her. That is her only job. Whether you like it or not, it is not up for criticism. Or, when I write a joke or when I write an hour, I don't have, like, I typically work clean. It's not a constructive criticism in any way to be like, well, why don't you write about that? Like,
yeah, it's
the comedy that comes out of me, the music that comes out of her is her art. We don't get to judge it like that. We don't get to say you didn't do this, you didn't
that's
do
interesting
that.
because I definitely give her that. Like when I listen to her, I'm never like she owes me anything. I don't ever feel
Yeah.
and I've been really adamant about that. She literally owes us nothing. She could put out a album of whale sounds, and we would all be like, okay, but not for me. But like, she could do the Andre 3000 thing of like putting out a flute album, and it's like maybe not for us, but it's what she wanted to do. Then fuck it, like no complaints. And you can just say it's not for you. But she's allowed to do whatever she wants. But I will say, I don't allow myself that same grace. I feel like a lot of times, and it isn't nice to do yourself as an artist of being like, I need to be more like this person. Man, I should have written a joke like that. Like, I used to hear like, Nikki, you only told a little bit of the joke. We want to hear more. And there's something to that. But I always feel this pressure. Like this weekend, I was performing in St. Louis, and I know, based on every indication I get, that when you go to a town, if you have jokes about that town, they love them more than anything else you'll say that night. You can have a closer that you have worked on for 10 years and you're finally debuting it in the way that and people haven't heard it before, and it's so perfect, and people will not remember it as much as you making a little comment about how their drivers are bad on this so-and-so road, and everyone's excited because this person they know about that road. They know about Kings Highway, Boulevard, or whatever it is. And so this weekend in St. Louis, especially my hometown show, it's a 4,500 seat venue, which is bigger than anything I've ever played on my own anywhere, really.
Oh my God.
And it was sold out. It was incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who came. So many Swifties there, so many Swifties. But I felt such pressure because also my dad's there. My dad is always like, why don't you ever say anything about the town? People love that. And I'm like, because that's not the kind of comedy I do. Like, I'm kind of like living life with blinders on. When I land somewhere, I don't like look around. Like, it's not because I don't care. It's just the way my brain is. Like, I don't really notice differences in cities. I'm not interested in cultural differences or architecture. It's just not what I'm into. I'd like to go to my hotel room and sleep. And so for me to write jokes about a town, it stresses me out, even though I know it's what people want. And I know based on reading subreddits of other comedians, like when comedians joke about a town, it also shows agility and a pliability of you being able to just come up with something on the spot. And that really stresses me out because I don't think of myself as like an improv person. But for this weekend in St. Louis, I felt so much pressure to do St. Louis jokes because I'm from there. Like, you don't get to excuse yourself and be like, I just got into town today. Like, I need jokes about St. Louis. I don't have them. I have opinions about St. Louis, but they're not like fully formed jokes yet. And so I decided to take the Anti-Hero song, which I know very well on guitar, and I pretty much just memorized her version of it that she played at the 1975 show. It's the best acoustic. She's just incredible at acoustic performances. Her guitar styling is simple, but it's not at all. It's like, it's really hard to learn. Like, if you're a guitarist and you know your shit, like, people who don't know their shit say like they don't think she's a good guitarist because she uses a capo or whatever it is. But her styling is just it's off the charts. And I mean, this bitch learned guitar on a 12-string guitar because someone made fun of her and said, you can't do a 12-string. That's too much for you. And she goes, actually, I'm going to get a 12-string. And she was like 14 years old. This is so hard to play. Anyway, she's incredible. I learned that version. I wrote new lyrics to Anti-Hero about St. Louis. So I was able to so I just was able to sing that song and get it out of the way. So I don't have to mention St. Louis ever again, and then I can just do my act. And that was literally only the reason I did it, was because I just, obviously I like to sing and all those things. I just wanted to give the people what they wanted, right? Like, I wanted to do it with a broken heart. Not that I was brokenhearted about it, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. Give my dad what he wants. But Daddy, I love you. Yes. And here's the song. Here's all the things about St. Louis. And I went a little too hard, I think, because I called St. Louis racist a lot, which it is. It's a very, very racist town. I don't partake in that. And like, I know most St. Louisans don't, but you got to admit, it's weird. And then I also made fun of some high schools and just, you know, I maybe went a little too hard on us, but people seem to like it. But it was me doing what I don't ever expect of Taylor, which is like, give the people what they want, which obviously she does. She delivers all the time. But getting back into this song, Guilty of Sin, I mean, my favorite part, I mean, it's one of my favorite parts just melodically in the whole album. There's so many, so I'll say this 20 times, but where she goes, these fatal fantasies, like the way she just like it's kind of like it's just so sexy. That delivery, like that is, I'm not someone who knows how to talk about music theory, but there's something very interesting and different about her voice in these songs. Like she's really taking some different, like she's just doing things with her voice she hasn't done before. But these fatal fantasies, and by the way, her range is out of control. I was Nour, I was at the dentist on Friday, and my mouth is open. There are instruments inside of it, and the hygienist and the dentist were talking about the woman that was in the chair before me, which is some old woman who was complaining about the music that was playing because she really likes opera music. And so my dentist was like, why didn't you just ask, you know, Alexa, put on some opera music? And she was like, well, because I don't know. It could be like a kind she doesn't like. I don't know opera, so I just kept it playing. And then she said something about, she was like, oh, and she said that, you know, and we were talking about Taylor Swift, and she was like, you know, saying like, you know, that girl can't sing. And I'm like, these fucking assholes. This old dumb bitch who is obviously very accomplished. She's an opera singer. The woman was like an opera singer or something. She thinks Taylor doesn't have range. You are so wrong. Have you not seen the TikToks about Taylor's range? It's insane. And not only does she have range from what we've seen in different songs, and we collect it all together, she will go from very low to very high in the same song. Her voice is so nuanced. She worked her ass off to get her voice to where it is. She already was a naturally very talented singer, as you can hear in her rendition of there's nowhere to hide when she pushed my love aside. She sings that like Sandy song from Grease. There's like a recording of her singing when she was very young, and her voice is sick, dude. It's so good. And that was before she had all this training. I mean, she probably had a little bit of training then. But after she performed at the Grammys and got panned by that guy who she wrote the song Mean About, she did intense vocal training. And this girl, I do vocal training. I know I look at TikToks constantly about singing. She has perfect tongue placement, perfect mouth opening, perfect breath work. Like you don't understand what doing that stuff is like. It is like, you know, like you have to control so many different things, and it's all mental, right? Like it's so much work. She's now at a place where she can just do it naturally, but to get herself there was so much work. I can't even do it. I'm a very hard worker, and I'm really struggling to do it. So she's next level, and her voice should not be fucked with. Like no one can talk shit about her voice. You literally don't have a leg to stand on because it's incredible. And what she does in this album with her voice, the nuance and the emotion that she conveys, I don't give a fuck about comparing her to Beyonce or Ariana Grande. Honestly, you can be a belter. You can have all this range and all of these different slides and like all these things. It sounds great. It's so impressive. Especially looks impressive when you move your mouth around and you go and you put your hand on your ear. That's all performative. Taylor could do that too. I guarantee you Taylor can do it too. She doesn't do it because she doesn't need to. And also those women obviously are the best singers in the world. But I find a lot more emotion in Taylor's voice than I have in their voices. And that's just my experience. People definitely feel differently, but that's the way I feel. And good singing does not mean you're just good at belting. Just because you're Leah Michelle does like, amen. It's all over the place. Bob Dylan's a good singer. So shut the fuck up, everyone. And I know no one listening to this thinks Taylor Swift's a bad singer. I'm just talking into a fucking void.
No, there was a TikTok or like an Instagram reel that was like, she's like not a, and it's not even comparing her. It's like the way she sings is so emotional and makes you feel so connected. And if that's not the point of listening to music, then what is?
So I say this because when she had instruments in my mouth and she's talking to the dentist and she says her range isn't very good. I go, And I literally, I go, it actually is really, really impressive range. That woman didn't know what she was talking about. And they were
People
like,
just
are you a
hate
Swiftie?
on
And I
her.
go, can you not tell by my hat and sweatshirt and earrings? And they were like, and then the dental hygienist ended up being a major Swiftie. I kind of like asked her a little more questions. I'm like, bitch, why? Not bitch lovingly, because you're probably listening. But I was like, wait, why didn't you stand up to this woman? Because she's a client. Like you can't be like, actually, she's even though I would, and I'd get fired right away. By the way, I do have Torture Poets merch. I got my sweatshirt, black sweatshirt. I got earrings, which I'm obsessed with. They're studs that say TTPD. And then I got a hat, and which I love as well. And let me just tell you, thank you, TaylorSwift.com. You have stepped up the merch. This sweater, this sweatshirt I got, sweater for Nour, who's Canadian. It seriously got so many compliments this weekend. My boyfriend, who is like obsessed with aesthetics and obsessed with sweatshirts, especially, and like the vibe of them, was like, he thought it was like Balenciaga. Like it's such a nice, it's so nice. I'm never washing it because I just don't want it to lose. I've been just Tide penning it constantly. But she really stepped up her merch. I think she read the complaints about like fading things and I don't think we're paying more for it. I think she is probably taking a hit to make better made stuff, because this batch of merch was incredible. And these earrings are amazing. And I'm dying to get the bracelet. I'm going to get the necklace, and I want to get the shorts. I want it all. Did you get anything? You were like on stage, right? When it dropped or something?
Yes, I'm so sad.
You're
I
not
was
on your
literally
phone right when it drops.
I know. And I wasn't paying attention to my phone. I was literally on stage for 20 minutes. And then there's like, I don't know, just like you sit down, watched a little bit of the comic after me.
I know this is an
'cause, like, as a
argument to
comic,
be
you wanna
addicted
see
to your
how-
phone, because you're going to miss these drops and you
know.
can't get anything. You can get the bracelet in extra large right now, but I can't do that.
Even there was this really incredible jacket, the black jacket. Did you see that? There was this jacket that had 2 patches on it. You could put the patches wherever, and that was sold out too.
Back to the song.
No, it was so cool. Yes.
My bed sheets are ablaze. I've screamed his name. The giving into the moans. Where's the moans thing? Giving way to labored breath. Labored breath is orgasm. Like it's so good. I choose you and me religiously. There's a lot of religious stuff going on in this album.
That's a very false gaudy, right? From Lover.
It really is. But I will say there's a lot of Catholic imagery that comes up later on. And I was like, is Joe Catholic? And he indeed is. And so I think we need to look into that a little bit. I think, remember when she went to that funeral and she was like caught on a camera, like on Zoom, like people, there was a tiny camera of her and she's resting her head on his uncle's funeral, and his uncle was like this, like kind of high up in the Catholic Church. So he's Catholic. So I think there's someone should make a link to that. Okay, let's move on to Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, which is climbing my ranking so much. I mean, I am late to this. Everyone was on board with Who's Afraid of Little Old Me from the get-go. How are you feeling about it?
I love
amazing.
it. It's one of, where is it with me? Let me see where it is in what I sent you. It's in my top 5 for sure.
Yes.
It's number 2 for me.
This is like, is it about Kim? Is it about like the scandal was contained, the bullet had just grazed, at all costs keep your good name, you don't get to tell me you feel bad. I mean, this is about someone in the industry. This is about her her leaping from the gallows and levitating down the street, crashing the party like a record scratch as I scream, "Who's afraid of little old me?" I mean, if you don't know, that is a reference to like a witch being like, "Who's afraid of little old me?" It's like she's again being this like, I'm a monster lurching towards your favorite city. It's like putting Taylor in this kind of like goblin-esque like imagery of her being like, ah, and everyone's like kind of scared of her. And then I love the turn of "you should be." Because Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is a sarcastic thing. Like, who's like kind of saying it like, are you scared of little old me? Like, and then her being like, you should be, is like really creepy and really fun. And I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. Okay, so she's admitting she is mean. She can be mean sometimes. Because guess what? Her life is fucking crazy and no one else, alive or dead, really can compare their lives to her. I mean, maybe... That's Michael Jackson at one point, you know, like it's just her, the circus this industry has made her who she is. We took out all her teeth. I mean, who took out her teeth? I'm wondering what that is.
Well, at first it was the record labels who were like, you can't be political, right? Yep. You can't say anything about politics. So it's like the muzzle that they put on her that she said she removed. And I remember reading on like, you know, that Sirius XM channel that she has, that this is a song about how society treats its artists, like what we do to them. We make them, we love to see them in pain because we want to see the art that they make when they are in that state. Yeah.
I don't even know that it's that. You know, it's probably a little bit of that. Like, I don't. There's a sick part of me that's like, oh, Taylor went through this breakup. Oh my God, I can't wait for the album. We all have a little bit of that in us. I think it's like we just like to see, we are all so miserable. We like to see people that we think are golden and have it so perfect. We like to see them suffer too. And it makes us feel less bad about not being as successful as they are. Like, I think we build people up because we love to look at someone who's so glamorous and who we can kind of fantasize about having their life. But ultimately we are so jealous of them. We want to take them. We don't want them to be happy because we're so jealous. Like, why can't that be me? At least that kind of resonates with a really dark part of my soul. But I love the bridge. So tell me everything is not about me, but what if it is?
What if it is?
You know, I heard some complaint in some, you know, I was listening to some review that was negative, and I'm sorry I even gave it a view, but it was saying like how like it was kind of making fun of her for saying this, of like, you're such a narcissist, like, you know, but she kind of admits, first of all, she admits to being a narcissist. She's did you hear my covert narcissism? And then she says it again in You're Losing Me. I would marry me either. A pathological people pleaser, you know, kind of like giving into those narcissist vibes of like, there's something wrong with me a little bit. But
I'm the best thing at this party.
I'm the best thing at this party. By the way, you definitely are, Taylor. There's no question. But I love that line. I love it because it also harkens back. God, I love how every lyric of hers, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of this other one of You're on Your Own, Kid, of like, you know, I searched the party of better bodies and realized my feelings aren't rare, or, you know, you didn't care. But guess what? When she's saying everything is not me, or they said they didn't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? Everything kind of is about her. Like, she's not crazy to read into things. And it gives me a little validation to read into her lyrics as much as I do, because I feel like I'm the person that's like, but what if this isn't about Maddie, but what if it is? Like, it's okay for me to actually go there too. Like, yeah, it's not, and I can read into it all day. She's kind of like giving us a little shout out here, I think, or at least empathizing with us making these wild assumptions. And you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum that they raised me.
Oh, that one killed me. That line.
Yeah.
It's like all the young female. Well, you sent me a really great text that a friend sent you, which is like, what if this is about Olivia Rodrigo, right? And it's like all Olivia and all these other young female singers would not last an hour in the like toxic media landscape she had to come up in as a young woman. Well,
I think
which is so true.
No one would, you know, like, and you know, first of all, a lot of women did come up in this and didn't make it out. I mean, like, we know of starlets currently who are not doing well because they came up in this asylum. And so, you know, Taylor's a very strong person. She's superhuman for sure, mentally, physically. Like, someone, you know, her trainer just posted about her workout and said anyone usually would do this would throw up every time, and she just doesn't. You know, like, she really is. It's next level. This girl, there's really nothing she can't do. I truly believe that if she wants to do, she could do anything she wants to do. I hope she never tries stand up. I'll be so humiliated at how good she is at it. But yeah, like, I loved that Monica Lewinsky posted a picture of the White House and wrote, "You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me," under it. It was so good. That went viral this weekend. Yeah. And then she goes, I think this is where I was kind of thinking about Kim, because she's like, "I'll sue you if you step on my lawn that I'm fearsome and I'm wretched and I'm wrong, putting narcotics into all of my songs." Like it kind of harkens to Thank You, Amy, where it's like, I wrote 1,000 songs that you think are uncool. And like, yeah, those things that people are like, why does everyone like her so much? What's going on? People really are like, is there something going on that is more than the music? It's like, no, it's just good. Why? She didn't trick us in any way. That's so insulting.
Yeah.
To think that we like Taylor Swift because she's like manipulating us or something. She is a mastermind. So, I mean, fine. Manipulate me all day long. It feels real good.
And here's the other thing is like going back to what you said of, well, when she's going through a breakup, we all know we're going to have a good album. It's like, well, she writes things and she conveys emotions we're not going to get anywhere else in life. We're not going to go to a movie. We're not going to listen to another artist describe their feelings in the same way she does. So it's just for like a breath of fresh air, and it's relatable. And it's like, finally someone sees me and sees what I'm going through and puts it in such a lovely, melodically incredible song.
Yes. I love this song. It's probably going to be one of my favorites at some point. Okay, next up, I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. I was not feeling this song at all, to the point where I every time it came on, it was a skip for me. It's too slow. I need things that like get my fucking heart rate going. I want to feel stressed out. I want to feel anxious. It's too slow. Then someone really talked to me about it and convinced me that I should get into it. And I am probably halfway there, but it's not, it doesn't grip me the way that it has other people, but I mad respect on this one. How do you feel about it?
I love it. I love it. And I like that she's saying, it's like a reply to everyone saying, oh, this guy you're dating is horrible. And when she said, but your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger, that line is incredible.
I like
right?
that line.
And
can we talk about that line for a second? That tells me Taylor Swift is not religious, because your good Lord, like, it's not like, or I'm sure she's spiritual, but it made me feel good that, like, because I'm not someone who talks about the good Lord and stuff. Like, it made me feel good that she's talking about their good Lord. It's not hers, because she would maybe say our good Lord if she was buying into this, like, pray for me bullshit. And I believe in prayer. I believe in a higher power and stuff. But I feel like Taylor's not like into, organized religion. And that lyric saying your good Lord kind of made me feel that. I don't know if she intended that, but I love that line as well.
yeah. And to me, it's also like, you have God on your side. Great. I don't even need God. I'm going to do it myself.
Yes.
Like, I know how to fix this man.
And the narcissism coming out again, which she definitely knows what she's saying here, which is like, she gets to it. No, maybe I can't. And boy, does she wait to hit that T on the can't at the very end. I've listened to it so much because she probably did it in one take, but that is masterful that she does not just, no, really, I can't.
Yes.
Like, she goes, can't. Like, but it doesn't sound like she's
it's a
trying
Wendy
to hold
Liebman
it.
moment.
It's just perfect. But I love how she goes, on a 6-lane Texas highway. Like, I love the, like, the Western drawl she's getting into. And then I also love his hands so calloused from his pistols softly traces hearts on my face. I thought for a second he was tracing hearts with his pistol, and I was like, that is so fucking crazy. But then obviously not.
Oh, no.
And then yeah, I love it. I love it. Dopamine she's talking about, which is yeah, she chases dopamine too, clearly. Let's move right along to Love of My Life. LOML is really what the title is called. I love the song so much. It's so sad.
It's a good song.
It's it's so great. It gripped me right away. It's a slow song, but it's just so sweet. And I think it's about M. I really do, because I think that
100%.
and I've seen all of these lists of like, this is about J, this is about M, and I'm like, no, like, you're getting these wrong. This is about M, because Mr. Steal Your Girl Then Make Her Cry, Talking Rings and Talking Cradles. I mean, I'm sure Joe talked about that stuff with her, but something Counterfeit is Dead. I don't think we're getting anything about Joe being counterfeit.
No, and remember how I texted you about Glitch? Glitch has the word counterfeit in it, and Glitch is about him.
Why do we know that Glitch is about him again? It's okay if you don't remember. Someone go look that up if you're wondering.
No,
because
it's
up there.
because she's like, you don't live in my part of town, because he lives in London.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and when she's on, and then situationship I'm in, or depending what's in my system, it's like they've been in a 10-year long situationship, and I think there's been a glitch. We were only supposed to be friends.
found another one.
Now I'm fastening myself to you, the stitch. What?
Nights are so starry. And then she goes, I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed. We're getting starry twice, both in Glitch and this.
Yes.
I love it. Just, you low down boy, you stand up guy. I like that she says stand up. I feel like that's the same feeling I got when she said St. Louis. I'm just like, oh, she said that. I do. You Holy Ghost, you told me I'm the love of your life. Okay. When, oh my God, my favorite lyric, I think, I just love, my favorite melody is cinephile in black and white. All those plot twists, dynamite, Mr. Steal Your Girl, then make her cry. But then I love, oh God, where is it? Oh, where she says, what a bland goodbye. Oof. And we know he ghosted her. That's what we, at least we don't know this, but that's kind of what we think. A bland goodbye, that makes me think of ghosting. And the bland goodbye, she's so disappointed. Her voice is just conveys so much disappointment and just like, what the fuckness in this song. I love it so much. I'll never leave, never mind. Like, she's combing through all the lies. It's just so good. And then let's finish this pod on I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Oh, what a good one. This is my number one right now.
You know, it's giving us the beats per minute that we need. And it gets chaotic at the end. It turns into like a fun house. Like, I'm looking at the chords to play it on the guitar, and it just changes into chords you've never even, like C sharp major seventh. And I'm just like, I can't even finish. Like, the song gets so insane at the end. But I love this song so much. Obviously it's about performing when she was feeling sad. It's obviously something that I sensed when I went to Era's tour in June and July. I even said it on my podcast. There is like evidence to prove that I definitely thought she was a little bit sad before she met Travis, and early June breakup with Maddie. And even probably before Maddie, even though I think she jumped kind of right into Maddie after Joe. I would just guess, because I think he was kind of, on deck. But there was no one on deck when Maddie left.
They were already dating by April 8th, when the news broke that she and Joe had broken up. She and Maddie had already been dating.
Yeah. So which is a very common thing. There's no part of me that's like, wait, what? How did you go to him so fast? Yeah, because that's what happens when relationships end. You find something else. My old therapist used to say sometimes you just need another lily pad to get you to get out of the thing that otherwise you'll stay forever. Some people need it. Doesn't make you a bad person. You just need it. And so
yes.
If by any chance she was talking to Maddie at the end of her relationship with Joe, usually relationships do not end until they've actually been dead for kind of like a couple months at least.
Yes.
So I don't fault anyone for finding people in those months where it's dead beforehand. I know it's not on paper a good thing to do, but I literally don't care at all when people do it. It's what they need to do to leave. It's too hard to leave someone. So like, I have no judgment if that's what happened. I'm not saying that's what happened. I literally have no clue. But I will say that there was no lily pad after Maddie jumped out. And then we had about a month and a half before she, I think, got into it with Travis, and he, made the friendship bracelets and everything. But this song, I just love watching the lyric video for it on YouTube that she made, because it's just all footage from eras. And it's really well done. I recommend it. It's like a music video for it, because it's not like repeating the same thing as most of her lyric videos do. And it's just all like these classic moments from the Eras Tour movie.
Ooh, that's a good tip. I haven't watched
it's good.
that.
It's not like just repeating the same, fucking grass by a lake swaying back and forth. It's which I love her lyric videos. No shade. But this one has different footage the whole time. It's really fun. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't relate? I think everyone's been like, Nikki, you must relate to the song so much. And yes, I do, because I perform with a broken heart a lot, and not just a broken heart, just like depressed or like whatever things. But this reminds me of that moment in the Katy Perry documentary where Russell Brand breaks up with her and she's about to go out to perform for 60,000 people in Brazil. Like, it's like a big, big show. And she's just like crying in the wings, like under the stage. And then all of a sudden she like comes up in the lights, and she's got like these swirling like whipped cream on her tits, and it's just so funny that she's like crying with this ridiculous outfit on, and then she just like lights up and is like, you know, California girls or whatever, and she can do it with a broken heart. So some people have put that song over that moment, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, don't worry about her. She'll always be able to give us the show. You know what I just want to know if she's able to like forget about her broken heart when she's up there. Like, does the adrenaline make her have a really good time? Because I do believe she's having a great time, but that doesn't, and as a performer myself, when I'm really depressed and going through something, I think the adrenaline will take me out of it, especially when I'm in shoe pain. My shoes will hurt so much off stage. I walk on stage for an hour and a half. They do not hurt at all. And then the second I step into the wings, they start fucking throbbing. Like I have to kick them off violently. And just 2 seconds before, I was like, didn't feel them at all. So you can numb out on stage and have a really good time. I wonder if she's able to do that or if she's just truly faking it the whole time.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell. That's the thing. The only times I can tell is when she does the surprise songs, and then we see a bit of emotion there. Yeah. Like when she sang, what's that song she has with Zayn Malik?
I was there for that song.
I can't believe that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one. Yeah, we all know it. I don't know why it's not coming.
So much emotion. She's in the green dress, and it's like she's gonna cry.
Yeah, that one was probably
So I think
June
those-
or July before Travis, because I was there
Post-Maddie.
and that was like the month I was going a ton. And yeah, okay, so let's finish on this. I have some questions from besties that I thought we could just address. People wanted us to hit these topics. Someone said we need you to go through every album now. Yes, we totally want to do that. Someone said, how does Taylor have this many feelings for Maddie Healy if they dated for like 2 months? I think we all know the answer to that. It's like, I mean, I could write so many songs about the 2-week thing that I went through because it was just so heightened and it went away so fast and it was so disruptive. It was like it's like a car crash. Car crashes happen in like 0.25 seconds. And the immense damage can be done. But you know, we got Lover out of her love for Joe, and we got a lot of good love songs, but there's just something, you know, I think it makes sense if you've been through it. I think everyone's talked about this ad nauseum online, but of course, short things are going to elicit more emotions than long, steady, secure things.
And over so many songs, she said it was like a meteor rise, and she's never felt that before, that one thing with him. And we know that it was a 10-year thing, and she kept going back to him and comparing everyone she dated to that little stint she had dating him in 2014. And it's the same thing. It's like we can all relate to someone who, like, you felt so many emotions with. It went over, it ended quickly, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't meaningful or didn't, like, you know, mean as much.
It's just,
honestly.
And again, it doesn't matter. Because it did. Because it was more, it just stirred up more emotions. Because that's just, sometimes there's not an explanation. Because it did. I can't help my feelings. I would also say that, like, you can't help what you feel. If you don't understand that yet, like, you really need to go to therapy, because it took me so long to figure out that my feelings weren't wrong, that you literally can't help them. When people try to go like, why do you feel that way? I don't really care about people's opinions about my feelings anymore. If I cry, I get embarrassed sometimes if I cry, or if I get upset, or if I get angry about something, but I can't help them. I'm not choosing to be sad right now. I'm not choosing to be depressed. I'm not, like, no one would choose that. So you got to really understand, you can't help your feelings. You can't help your thoughts. There's not something you're in control of. So stop trying to analyze it and stop trying to make yourself feel bad about why you feel this. Why did I feel so strongly about this guy that was only 2 weeks? Because you did. And because you're not in control up there. Whatever, your feelings are not in your control. If they were, we would all be a lot, like, more secure and steady in our lives, but they're just not. And Taylor doesn't have control over them either. Okay. So someone said, we'll get to the prophecy. How do you think this will fit into the Eras tour? And these questions were written before, obviously, the Easter egg came out in her video, her reel this weekend, or on her stories. we saw a Tortured Poets Department thing on like a railing. I have to say, I think she's going, but Daddy, I Love Him, Little Old Me.
Yes.
I Can Do It With a Broken Heart would be hilarious for her to sing at Eras, but I think she might go there. And I think My Boy Breaks His Only his Toys. What songs do you think? I think she's going with kind of my top 3 or 4.
Well, she added 4 or 5 songs from Tortured Poets to those Apple Music playlists.
Yeah.
So people are saying that those songs that she added could be the ones that she's playing. I think she'll play Fortnite because it's the lead single. My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. I think she'll sing Down Bad, but Daddy, I Love Him. And hold on, was there one more?
Oh yeah, Down Bad I think would be really
I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Yes.
Those are my predictions.
Someone said, so high school, Guilty as Sin. What other songs are about Travis? Guilty as Sin is not about Travis. It's about Maddie. I would bet everything on that. I think Alchemy is about Travis. Is there any debate about that, Nour? I feel like...
Not that I know. No, I think
touchdown.
Scientists have concluded.
Let me just touchdown. Come on. I don't know.
Yes, and the trophy.
And the trophy, and then the end of "But Daddy, I Love Him" is also about Travis, as we covered on last time's episode. Do you think we are getting a third version of this album on May 3rd, Nour?
I don't know, Nikki. I know I'm supposed to have an opinion. I'm just so scared of this woman and her mind and what she puts us through that I think something is going to happen on Friday, May 3rd. I just don't know what it is.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think so, because this girl knows no limits, and we have not still gotten the acceptance part of the stages of grief. Someone had written that out and was like, there's no acceptance part. I can't imagine that she's written more songs, but yes, I can. Of course she has. It just doesn't feel like all of the evidence that people are presenting does not seem overt enough. And Taylor is not, she's cryptic for sure, but I think that some people read into things a little too much, and she's not that cryptic. Like, she's not, like, everyone should be able to break the codes that she's doing. And some people are going really hard on, like, but there's a picture of her with Haim, and there's 3 of them. So that means there's a third. I'm like, no, I just don't see that kind of stuff. So I'm fingers crossed that there's more, because I would just love for people to be like, so like, more? Really? Like, people who don't like her to just be like, more, because they're so jealous that they could never do what she's doing, which is put out 3 albums. Like, anyone who talks shit about her is so fucking jealous. And I like seeing people get upset.
Do you think, what are the chances it'll be a Reputation re-record on Friday?
That's a good chance. Although I don't think she would like lump this in, like, let's give this. Why would she take away this moment from this album? It's just came out. We need more time with it.
You're right.
I want her to wait on that, because I want to have fun with that. Even though this album does really remind people of Reputation a lot, and we kind of be staying with similar themes, I'm guessing, but I don't know. I can't take it. Someone just asked, what is the most part of the I Can Do It With a Broken Heart? What lyric resonates with you the most? Do you feel this way too? You get depressed. You perform with a broken heart.
Yeah. I'm so depressed. I act like it's my birthday.
Okay, what do you think about that lyric? What does that mean to you?
It means you're so it's living with depression, but having to go on stage and make people laugh and live a life and be on social media.
But what does the birthday part mean? Like, is she acting like it's her birthday to get out of depression, or is she acting like it's her birthday because she has to perform and that looks like, oh, it's my birthday?
Yes.
That's that one, right? That's what people, I think, are confused about that lyric, and I want to actually say I agree with that. When you are performing, everyone's looking at you, everyone's admiring you, you're all dressed up, and it does feel like your birthday. That's why I don't like to celebrate my birthday, because I get it so often. That's why I don't want a wedding. I don't like parties that aren't like me performing, because I'm like, I don't deserve this. I'm not doing anything. So, and every night does feel like my birthday. I get so much attention. So I think that's what she's talking about when she says I act like it's my birthday. It could be her. She really likes birthdays though. So it could be her being like trying to get her out of it. Like, okay, I'm trying to act like it's my birthday every day. But I think it's, for me, I at least relate to, I have to put on a dress and get all gussied up the way I see girls on Instagram do only on their birthdays or special occasions when the girls are going out. I have to do that 3 times a week. And say hi to everyone and like, oh my God, welcome to like my party, which is a great thing to do. And it's so much fun because who doesn't want it to be their birthday 3 days a week? But that is what I think that is. And because I'm miserable and nobody even knows.
Nobody even knows.
I love that. I don't relate to that because people do know I'm miserable because I talk about it a lot. And now we know that Taylor is miserable. So like, I think this is a little bit reminds me of Thank You, Amy, where it's like she's saying a thing that we maybe used to assume, but now we definitely know, like where she's saying like your daughter will come home and sing a song that only you and I know is about you. And it's like, no, everyone knows now. But I think previously that lyric would have been true. When she wrote it, it was true. But now that it's out, it's no longer true. We do know now yes. We can. I still think she'll be able to hide being miserable and we'll all assume she's doing great because she's so good. But I related to that as well. And I'm so obsessed with him, but he avoids me. That is crazy that she could be obsessed with someone and they avoid her. I mean, it's just, if that doesn't make you feel seen as a woman who's felt like kind of ghosted or like been like, he won't write back to me. Taylor Swift is like looking at her text being like, when is he writing me back? And getting these dopamine hits when she does see his name. Like she's just like us. I laughed so hard when I was at Eras in Melbourne because I was with my friend who we were all gushing about Travis, and at one point she Taylor left the stage to transition to the next era. And my friend was like, do you think she's backstage texting Travis? Like, it's going really well. Which makes me laugh so hard because like, what is it not going well for her? But like, can you imagine her like someone handing her a phone and she's like, oh, we're just about to get to speak now. It's going really great. Like I would about something I was doing one time, like it's just, that made me laugh so hard to picture her going like, it's going so well tonight, even though I do this fucking 3 times a week and I've never once stumbled. And when I did, it was the cutest stumble ever. Like I like the Errors Tours compilations because they're so adorable. She fucking never fucks up. When she does, she just like says like MySpace instead of my face, and everyone's like, whoa. It's like she's just so flawless. Even her errors are like spot on and perfect.
I've watched that video like maybe 100 times. The MySpace, and then she giggles, and the dancers giggle. It's so good.
And I've watched the first time she did. He's on the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me. Like each of the dancers like sees her do like realize like hears it and goes like, oh shit, and they like all react. That is such a fun one to watch too. And when she like, I hate watching her fuck up. I don't enjoy. I literally kind of avoid them if I can. I don't want to see her step over her words or whatever, and she never does. But there's that one where she's like, I keep this side, and she does that like sidestep and she slips because it's like raining. And it's so cute, and she fixes it perfectly, and she just like kind of laughs at herself, and it's just so cute. And then when her fucking heel fell off and she's walking around like it's still on, no one even noticed. That was amazing, and she threw that heel into the audience. I can't believe that heel hasn't surfaced and someone hasn't made like a video with it. But okay, we've got to go.
Oh no, the guy has it.
Oh, he does?
Just to say, he does, and he's never selling it.
Oh, good. I've never seen it. Okay, you got to send me that. Yeah, everyone, thank you for listening to this one. If you made it this far, you are a true Swiftie. Keep sending me, reels and memes that you see on Instagram. I love when you guys DM me those. I don't always have the time to watch them all, but I love any kind of Taylor Swift thing that you think that I might not have seen. Same with Nour. Follow Nour, NourHadidi, Nour Hadidi on Instagram. Thanks so much, Nour. We'll pick back up where we left off and continue on the next episode with the smallest man who ever lived. We'll see you then. This was the Taylor Swift Gushfest Part 2.